At 1 p.m., they told us, you're getting out today. And then at 2 p.m., they came to the prison yard and started calling the names, starting from room number 1. At 5:30 p.m., we all left Al Damoun prison, and at 7 we arrived to Rafah prison. They pulled us on the floor, and they started dragging us on the floor, and the floor was filled with dirt, rock, and they started just dragging us from our hair. They designed this cage in the prison yard. It looked like an animal cage, just like the ones you see at the zoo. And then a video started, they had this huge screen. They started showing us videos of the destruction and the damage they have done in Gaza, in Jenin, in Nablus, in Tulkarem, in Lebanon, in Yemen, in Iraq, and in Syria. And then they started showing us pictures of leaders, and they wrote on it, we're done with this person, we're done with this person, we killed this person. And they forced us to watch that, and we were all dressed the same prison clothes, and we went to our first interrogation session, where they threatened us to take us back to prison, and they kept telling us that this is not a victory, even though you're going home today, but this is not a victory. So we started all this process at 2 p.m. and then we left this cell at 1 a.m. midnight. We looked like a mess. And then the Red Cross came and they took us to the Red Cross buses. We were mistreated in front of the Red Cross.
On a hot summer day, Hadeel is returning to her home in Palestine from a trip from Jordan. Because Palestine has no airport due to the Israeli occupation, she has no choice but to go through 3 Israeli checkpoints. As she approaches one, Israeli soldiers halt her. Without explanation, they force her to sit on a metal chair and wait. After waiting for 6 long hours, 3 Israeli intelligence officers and 1 security guard arrive, saying there's an arrest order against her. They don't show any proof and demand her phone.
I refused to open my phone because it's my right. And then they started yelling. I gave them my phone without opening it.
After that, they handcuff her and take her to a jeep. The first stop is the nearest Israeli military base in an unknown location where Palestinians are routinely held for hours, sometimes an entire night. This is where Israeli soldiers record their personal data, deciding whether to send them to interrogation or directly to prison.
So after I went to the military base for a few hours, they sat me outside on a plastic chair, and soldiers were surrounding me. They folded my hand and my eyes, so I couldn't see anything.
A military car arrives and takes her to the Sharon prison in central Israel. This is her second stop.
They started beating me on my hand and on my leg while they were taking me to the cell. And whenever we crossed a huge blue metal door, they used to put me in front of the door and slam the door on my chest. Eventually, they took me to this cell, a solitary confinement cell. When I entered the cell, it was in the worst and the filthiest place I've ever seen in my whole life. It has a lot of bugs all over it, cockroaches. It was disgusting. And it had 3 cameras, so I couldn't use the bathroom. And the bathroom was not for human use. So they would be seeing you from the outside also.
At 6 a.m. the next day, Israeli soldiers transfer her to Damon prison, where she would go on to be imprisoned for 7 months. On the 8th day, Israeli soldiers come for her. She is taken to the Salem Interrogation Center. But instead of questioning her, they just inform her that she is under administrative detention with a secret file. Again, without any explanation.
And the administrative detention is not a punishment thing. It's about prohibiting risk in the future, not about the past. So in this situation, they use the administrative detention based on the argument that this person might be in the very near future dangerous for the state, not because he did something wrong.
I tried to think so many times. There is nothing that I do that would put me in jail.
Yeah, usually the state has to argue that the person is member or active in illegal political party that was declared as terrorist political party. But all the Palestinians political parties were declared either as terrorist or illegal entities. So in fact, you can put any Palestinian in jail under administrative detention.
Arbitrary and illegal arrest and imprisonment was possible as it's part of a controversial security policy inherited from the British when they occupied Palestine, and it permits the Israeli government to detain individuals indefinitely without charging them or providing any evidence against them.
Administrative order is limited for maximum 6 months, but the state can extend that more, and they have to show that they had new materials that got to them.
There are 10,000 Palestinians in Israeli jails, including 300 children. Among them, 3,500 who are under the so-called administrative detention. Among the 3,500 administrative detention, there are about 100 children. These people could be put in jail for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years continuously without charges. So arbitrary arrests are all over, but more important, people are killed in prisons. Since October 7th, at least 67 of them were killed in Israeli jails. Those prisoners are subjected to terrible, terrible conditions. They are starved. They are suffering from very poor treatment. And they are tortured continuously.
The Zionist prisons are nightmares. They're inhuman, slaughtery places. We were deprived from food. They used starvation as a tool to control us. So, for example, I lost 22 kilos in 7 months.
The women's department where Hadeel was kept has 13 rooms, imprisoning a total of 19 women. Each cell is small and cramped, with only 5 or 6 beds. Some were forced to sleep on the cold, hard floor. Even smaller cells existed where 6 young women struggled to fit in a space barely big enough for just 3 beds.
Inside that prison, there was another department for the children prisoners. So we were able sometimes to hear their voices because they were in the department next to us. On my 22nd day in the prison, and they took me to trial. And it was not a real trial, because the judge was sitting there stating that I am under administrative detention for 6 months. The lawyer, that was my first time seeing my lawyer. And they told me, no one can look at your file, even the lawyer.
Usually it's very difficult to defend because the state before the court, they rely on secret evidence. And those secret evidence are not exposed to the lawyers. And the courts confirm that they are entitled not to tell the lawyers the details.
I went to a second trial, and they informed me that they're gonna renew my detention for another 4 months. And after a month, with a new 4 months, the exchange deal happened, and I was released.
In the Israeli-occupied West Bank, families are waiting in the cold to welcome their loved ones after their release from Israeli detention.
Many of them have been held captive or have been held in prisons under so-called administrative detention. That means they've been held there for an undefined period of time without charges and with no trial in sight.
I was imprisoned with mothers, students, children prisoners. Living with mothers makes you realize how brutal this occupation is, and that they were not allowed to even know about what's going on with their mothers, even with their kids. Even with the lawyer visit, the lawyers were threatened not to tell us anything. So they would check on us to tell our family that we are okay.
After October 7, 2023, the number of Palestinians detained by Israel skyrocketed, reaching 14,500. At least 3,369 of them are administrative detainees who are currently being held in Israeli prisons with no charge, no evidence, but ongoing oppression.